All right, so let's look at this one example from section 1.2. And these type of problems can be a bit challenging for students. Now, all you're really doing is solving for one of the variables indicated, and in this case, we're solving for L. And so what you need to do is treat everything else as just the non-variable. You'll see what I mean by this. And if you compare it to the previous section and the work we did in the previous section, or earlier in the slides, you'll notice that if you treat the variable that we're solving for as the variable and everything else as non-variable terms, then it will make the problems a little bit easier, I think. So we're still using the addition and subtraction property of equality. We're still using the multiplication and division property of equality. Now, in terms of simplifying, like we discussed earlier about how you simplify first, that's not really that doesn't apply too much. It doesn't apply at least as often in these type of problems. So, but it can, but not for this example. Okay, so what we want to do first, again, L is our variable. So I'm just going to write that down. This is, so this is our variable. We're going to treat this as our variable, and everything else is not a variable. So that's what we're solving for. Whatever you're solving for, in this case L, that is what you're going to treat as your variable. And that because that's what we're solving for. So let's see. So the 2w doesn't contain, it contains a letter, but it doesn't contain the variable we're solving for. So we want to move that to the right side of the equation. Just like the constants from before, we're moving to the right side of the equation. So we're going to subtract 2w, subtract 2w, and that leaves us with 2, I'll use a cursive L, equals P minus 2W. So it's very unlikely that you'll be able to combine like terms. It doesn't happen as often for these type of problems. But do if there's any like terms, just simplify. In this case, no, P minus 2W, not like terms. Okay, now we have our variable, in this case, our L, on the left side of the equation. Nothing else, no other terms are on the right side of the equation, and no other constants are on the left side of the equation. So we're ready to use the multiplication and division property of equality. So we want to solve for L, so we want to divide by 2. And that is pretty much it. We're done with this problem. So we get L equals P minus 2W over 2. Now it is possible. Now it is possible to break this down a little bit further. Now I would consider both of these equally simplified. So you could also say P over 2 minus, and then you notice that 2W divided by 2 is W. You can break it down this far. I would say that they're both possible in solutions. Since most of your problems are multiple choice, then you're good either way with either of these forms, because you can see which one is the solution in the end in multiple choice. All right, so let me know if you have any other concerns about how to go about this. Again, whatever you're solving for, treat that as your variable. Every other term that does not contain what you're solving for, treat it as a constant. And yeah, you can just solve the equation for the indicated variable. All right, let me know if you have any concerns.